Tara stood quietly near the corner of the big, bright hotel ballroom. The place sparkled with lights and laughter. People wore expensive clothes, clinking glasses of champagne as music played softly in the background. It was the class of 2013 reunion, a night everyone had been waiting for. Tara looked around nervously. Her dress was beautiful but different, made from colorful Ankara fabric, stitched carefully by her own hands. Some people glanced at her, whispering to each other. She held her small clutch tightly, pretending not to notice. Then the room suddenly brightened with excitement. Vanessa walked in, wearing a shimmering gold gown that caught the light with every step. She was surrounded by friends, laughing, taking selfies, and greeting everyone like a celebrity. When Vanessa's eyes landed on Tara, she stopped. A smirk spread across her face. She raised her voice loud enough for everyone nearby to hear. Vanessa. Oh my God. Tara, is that Ankara patchwork? You still sew your own clothes? The people around them chuckled. Someone whispered, so local. Another covered their mouth to hide a laugh. Tara took a deep breath and forced a small smile. Tara. Yes, I designed it myself. Vanessa tilted her head, pretending to be impressed. Oh, Vanessa. How sweet. Maybe one day, when you get money, you'll afford real fashion. The crowd laughed louder this time. The sound echoed in Tara's ears. She looked down, trying to hide the hurt in her eyes. Her heart pounded, but she refused to cry. She walked to the drink table, picked up a glass and took a sip, her hands trembling slightly. As she stood there, she heard more whispers, saw more fake smiles. The laughter stung, but she stayed silent. She reminded herself to stay strong. In that moment, as the music played and people went back to their fun, the camera would catch a close-up of Tara's eyes, full of pain, pride, and something else quietly burning inside her. It wasn't anger. It was determination. Something inside Tara had just woken up. Years ago, Tara was the most talented fashion student in her department. Everyone admired her creativity and how she could turn simple fabric into something beautiful. Her dream was big. She wanted to start her own sustainable fashion brand, using local materials to create designs that celebrated African beauty. But life took a painful turn. Her mother passed away suddenly, leaving Tara with her little brother, Timmy, to care for. With no one else to help, Tara dropped out of school. The dream she once chased so brightly now had to wait. She found a job at a small tailoring shop in Surulere. The shop was cramped and noisy, filled with old sewing machines and piles of fabric. Tara worked long hours for little pay, sewing clothes for customers who rarely appreciated her effort. Still, she never stopped designing. At night, after Timmy was asleep, she would light a candle and draw new designs in her sketchbook, dresses she dreamed the world would one day see. Sometimes, her clients would promise to pay more but never return. Others would criticize her work unfairly or ask for discounts because they thought she was just a local tailor. Tara smiled through it all, though her heart broke a little each time. One evening, as she returned home carrying her sewing kit, her landlord, Mr. Bello, laughed at her from his chair. Mr. Bello. Tara, you too fine for this kind of struggle. Go find big money, not small cloth business. Tara forced a smile, muttered a polite good evening, and went inside. But once she closed the door, she sighed deeply. She looked at her hands, rough from years of sewing, and whispered to herself, one day, I'll make it. Her best friend, Neka, was her only constant support. Neka believed in her when no one else did. Neka. Tara, you're wasting that talent hiding here. You should show the world what you can do. Tara shook her head. People like me don't get noticed, she said softly. But Neka wouldn't give up. She told Tara about the upcoming class of 2013 reunion, a chance to reconnect with old classmates who might help her find new opportunities. Tara hesitated. She didn't want to face people who once saw her as full of promise, now struggling to survive. Tara. I don't even have money for a new dress. Neka, smiling, then make one. You're the designer, remember? That night, Tara sat by her sewing machine, surrounded by leftover fabrics, small, colorful pieces from old projects. As she touched each piece, memories flooded back. The blue one reminded her of her mother's favorite wrapper. The red one was from her first client who believed in her. The gold piece came from a dress she made for a bride who never paid her. She decided to sew them together, not just to make a dress, but to tell her story. Every patch would mean something. Every stitch would hold a part of her journey. While Tara worked quietly in her small apartment, her cousin Vanessa was living a very different life across the city. Vanessa had become a famous influencer. Her social media pages were filled with pictures of luxury, designer handbags, beach vacations, and parties with celebrities. People admired her beauty and style. Brands sent her clothes and money for promotions. But behind the pictures, Vanessa felt empty. The designer gowns were often fake. The handbags were borrowed. Her life looked perfect online, but offline she was lonely, insecure, and always afraid someone would discover the truth. When she saw the invitation for the class of 2013 reunion, Vanessa smiled proudly. Everyone will see how successful I've become, she told herself. She didn't know that Tara, the cousin she once ignored, was also planning to attend, in a dress made from scraps, sewn with love and courage. Two women from the same family. One searching for dignity, the other chasing validation. Both about to meet again in a room full of memories, where the past and present would collide in ways neither of them expected. During the reunion's fashion showcase, everyone gathered around to show off their outfits. Music played, phones flashed, and people posed for pictures. The ballroom was full of laughter and pride. Everyone wanted to be noticed. The MC Tund, a cheerful man with a loud voice, grabbed the microphone and grinned. MC Tund. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to celebrate our fashion stars. And look who we have here. Our very own designer, Tara. Come on, Tara, show us your look. People clapped lightly, some out of kindness, others out of curiosity. Tara's heart raced. She didn't want attention, but now all eyes were on her. Slowly, she stepped onto the small stage. Her colorful handmade dress shimmered softly under the lights, the patchwork glowing in different shades. From one side of the room, Vanessa leaned back in her chair, sipping her drink. She whispered loudly enough for her friends to hear. Vanessa, this should be good. They giggled. Tara heard it but tried to ignore it. She took a deep breath and walked gracefully, even though her legs felt weak. A few classmates clapped politely, trying to encourage her. Then Vanessa's voice cut through the music. Vanessa, mocking Auntie Thrift Store. The room burst into laughter. Some people looked embarrassed, others joined in just to fit in. Tara froze for a moment. Her cheeks burned. She wanted to disappear. The laughter was still echoing when a calm but deep voice spoke from the audience. Elijah, wait a minute. Everyone turned. It was Elijah Cole, the guest of honor. A tall, elegant man in his 50s, known across Africa for his luxury fashion brand. The crowd went quiet as he stood up and walked toward the stage. He stopped in front of Tara and looked closely at her dress. His hand brushed the hem of the fabric gently, studying the stitching. The silence was heavy. Elijah, who designed this? Tara's voice was soft. Tara. I did, sir. Elijah smiled slightly. Elijah, then you, my dear, are an artist. The laughter died instantly. You could hear the sound of people shifting uncomfortably. Vanessa's smile faded. She looked away, pretending not to care, but her face had gone pale. Elijah turned to the audience. Elijah, this stitching technique, the fusion work, is not something you see every day. Only a few designers in the world can do this properly. You made this by hand. Tara nodded nervously. Tara. Yes, sir. I used leftover fabric from my shop. The crowd gasped softly. Even the MC didn't know what to say. Elijah nodded with respect. Elijah. Remarkable. You've turned scraps into art. The room fell silent. No one laughed now. All those who mocked her felt small. Some even began to clap, slowly at first, then louder. Vanessa forced a smile, but inside she was boiling with jealousy. How could Tara, the local tailor, suddenly steal all the attention? Elijah looked at Tara again. Elijah, I'd like to speak with you after the event. You have a rare gift. Tara blinked, unsure if she heard correctly. She nodded shyly, her voice trembling. Tara. Thank you, sir. As Elijah walked back to his seat, the crowd started murmuring again. But this time, the tone had changed. Some people whispered, she's actually talented, while others stared in surprise. Vanessa sat frozen, her hands tight around her glass. For the first time that night, she had nothing to say. Tara walked off the stage quietly, still in shock. The same dress that brought her shame moments ago had now brought her respect. She didn't know it yet, but this moment, this short walk across the stage, was the start of a new chapter in her life. After the showcase, the ballroom was full of whispers. Groups of people gathered in corners, talking about what had just happened. Some classmates came to Tara and said kind words. Classmate 1. Tara, your dress was amazing. I didn't know you were this talented. Classmate 2. You really showed them tonight. But others were less kind. Classmate 3, whispering she must have planned that whole thing. Maybe she already knew Elijah Cole would be there. Classmate 4. Yeah, it felt like a setup. Who even hand makes a dress like that just for attention? Tara heard bits of the gossip, but she stayed quiet. She smiled politely, thanked those who congratulated her, and quietly left the party. Inside, she felt both proud and scared. She didn't know if her life had just changed, or if this was another moment that would fade away. Across the hall, Vanessa stood alone, pretending to scroll through her phone. Her smile was gone. Her friends didn't know what to say to her. For years, Vanessa had been the center of attention, the glamorous cousin, the it girl. Now, in one night, Tara had taken the spotlight without even trying. When Vanessa got home, she threw her purse on the couch angrily. Her mother, Mrs. Adebayo, sat on the sofa watching the reunion highlights online. She turned the phone toward her daughter. MRS. Adebayo. Is this what I'm seeing? Your cousin Tara being praised on social media while you stand there doing nothing. Vanessa. Mummy please. MRS. Adebayo snapping, you embarrassed the family. How can your cousin be praised while you look ordinary beside her? You used to be the pride of this family. Vanessa, angrily, she's nothing. She's just a tailor, for heaven's sake. Mrs. Adebayo sighed. MRS. Adebayo. Maybe it's time you stop looking down on people, Vanessa. The world is changing. Talent speaks louder than clothes. Vanessa looked away, tears forming in her eyes, not of sadness, but of jealousy. The next day, Tara nervously waited in the lobby of the hotel where Elijah Cole was staying. She didn't even have a proper handbag, just her small clutch from the reunion. When Elijah's assistant invited her into the suite, she entered slowly, unsure what to expect. Elijah smiled warmly when he saw her. Elijah. Miss Tara, I'm glad you came. Tara shyly, thank you for inviting me, sir. I still can't believe what happened last night. Elijah poured her a glass of juice and motioned for her to sit. Elijah, you have a rare gift. I'm starting a foundation to support young African designers who create sustainable fashion. I want you to join my team in Lagos. You'll work with professionals, learn modern design, and maybe even launch your own brand. Tara's eyes widened. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Tara, me? But I don't have a degree. I didn't even finish fashion school. Elijah, smiling, I don't need your papers, Tara. I saw your talent with my own eyes. Tara hesitated. Years of disappointment made her careful. Tara, people like me don't get second chances, sir. Every time I hope for something good, life takes it away. Elijah, gently, that's exactly why I'm giving you one. Because you've earned it. Tears filled her eyes. She nodded slowly. Tara, I'll think about it, sir. He smiled and stood. Elijah, take your time. But remember, opportunities don't knock twice. Tara left the hotel with a heart full of hope, but also fear. She wanted to believe her life could change, yet a small voice inside kept whispering that maybe it was too good to be true. Meanwhile, Vanessa sat at home scrolling through social media, and what she saw made her furious. People were praising Tara. Fashion blogs were calling her the next big designer. Some fans even tagged Elijah Cole in posts celebrating the tailor who stole the spotlight. Vanessa's face darkened. Vanessa. If they only knew the truth, she muttered. That night, she posted a message on her story. Funny how some people copy other people's designs and pretend to be creative. Lagos people love fake things, Shaw. Her followers started asking questions. Soon rumors spread that Tara had stolen Vanessa's designs. By morning, the internet was full of gossip. The hashtag Tara the Tailor was trending, but this time, not in a good way. People posted memes mocking her. Some said she faked her story to get attention. Tara was devastated. She sat on her small bed scrolling through the cruel comments, tears running down her cheeks. Tara, whispering, why does this always happen to me? Nneka rushed to her apartment when she saw the posts. Nneka, Don't believe these lies, Tara. You know your truth. You've worked too hard to give up now. Tara, crying, but everyone believes her. Neka. I can't fight this. Neka, firmly, yes you can. You've been fighting your whole life. Don't let them destroy your dream. Later that evening, Tara got a call from Elijah. Elijah, I saw what's happening online. Don't worry about the noise. People talk when they see greatness. Stay focused. I'll handle this. Tara wiped her tears. Tara. But sir, what if no one believes me? Elijah. Then we'll show them. Talent doesn't need defending, it proves itself. For the first time in years, Tara felt like someone truly believed in her. She took a deep breath and decided she wouldn't hide anymore. The same people who laughed at her would soon see what she was capable of. She was done being silent. Elijah hosted a grand press event in Lagos to launch his new fashion foundation. The hall was filled with reporters, photographers, and top designers from across Africa. Bright lights flashed, cameras clicked, and banners with the words African Fashion Rising hung on every wall. At the center of the show was a surprise collection, Tara's designs. Her name was not announced yet, but her work stood proudly on display. Beautiful models stood backstage wearing her handmade pieces, each dress telling a story of strength and creativity. Elijah had planned something special. Without telling Tara, he had invited Vanessa and several of their former classmates from the reunion. He wanted them to see what true talent looked like. Vanessa arrived in a glittering gown, her makeup perfect as always. She thought she was attending another regular fashion event. She had no idea what was about to happen. When she saw Elijah on stage, she smiled confidently, ready to network. But her smile began to fade when she saw the designs on the runway. As the music began, the first model walked out. She wore a bold patchwork dress, colorful and elegant, just like the one Tara wore at the reunion. The audience gasped softly, whispering to each other. The next model came out in another breathtaking outfit, a gown made from recycled African fabric, stitched in a unique style that looked both traditional and modern. Every piece drew louder applause. Fashion critics nodded in approval, taking notes. The energy in the room grew. Vanessa's heart sank. She recognized many of the ideas. She had once posted sketches online, things she never actually made. And now she saw those same ideas, only better. Tara had taken inspiration and turned them into something real, something powerful. Vanessa's hands trembled. She whispered to the woman beside her. Who designed this collection? The woman smiled. Didn't you hear? It's a young Nigerian designer, Tara Adebayo. Elijah Cole's new discovery. Vanessa froze. Her mouth opened slightly, but no words came out. All she could do was stare at the stage as Tara walked out. Tara was dressed simply but beautifully in a soft gold dress. The crowd rose to their feet, clapping as she joined Elijah at the center of the runway. She could hardly believe what was happening. Elijah raised his hand, asking the crowd for silence. Elijah. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we celebrate not just fashion but resilience. These designs are made by a woman who refused to give up, who turned scraps into art. The audience applauded again. Tara blinked back tears, trying to stay calm. Then Elijah smiled and motioned toward the final piece on the display. A soft light revealed a glass frame behind them. Inside it hung Tara's reunion dress, the same one that Vanessa had once mocked. Elijah. And this is where it all began. This dress was made from leftover fabric, but it carries more beauty and meaning than any designer label. This is what real fashion looks like, born from struggle, not privilege. The room erupted with applause. Cameras flashed non-stop. Some people even stood on chairs to take pictures. Tara couldn't hold back her emotions anymore. Tears filled her eyes as she looked out at the crowd. The same people who once laughed at her were now cheering her name. Vanessa lowered her head, feeling her cheeks burn with shame. She stood up quietly and tried to slip out of the room. But Elijah saw her. His voice was calm, but it carried across the hall. Elijah. Vanessa. She stopped, her hand frozen on the door handle. Slowly she turned around. Everyone's eyes were on her. Elijah gave a small smile, the kind that cuts deeper than anger. Elijah. Next time you mock someone's clothes, make sure you can sew a button. The crowd gasped, then laughter and applause filled the room. Vanessa's eyes filled with tears, and she turned away, walking out quickly. Tara stood on the runway, tears shining on her cheeks. The applause grew louder and louder. Reporters shouted her name. Cameras flashed like stars. Elijah placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. Elijah, softly, you earned this moment, Tara. Never forget where you came from. It's what makes you special. Tara smiled through her tears. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like a tailor. She felt like a designer. A real one. The room rose again in applause as the music swelled. Her journey had been painful, but in that moment, every struggle was worth it. That Tara's life changed completely after the fashion event. A few weeks later, Elijah officially made her the creative lead at his fashion foundation. It was a dream come true. She now had her own office, a small team of designers, and a studio filled with bright fabrics and sewing machines. Every day, young people came to learn from her. Girls who once thought they had no future in fashion. Tara taught them how to sew, design, and believe in themselves. She often smiled as she walked through the studio, hearing laughter and seeing the sparkle of new ideas everywhere. Her story spread across the internet again, but this time for the right reason. Headlines read, "From tailor to designer, the woman who inspired a nation." People admired her for her strength and humility. She became a symbol of hope for many women who had faced rejection or mockery. With her new income, Tara moved her younger brother, Toby, into a better apartment. She decorated it herself, soft curtains, colorful cushions, and a sewing corner for him to practice his own designs. Toby grinning, "You did it, Tara." Tara smiling, "No, we did it." They both laughed, remembering the days they had shared one small room and struggled to buy fabric. Tara's life was now peaceful but busy. She attended fashion meetings, charity events, and interviews. Yet she never changed. She still greeted everyone kindly and never forgot where she came from. Meanwhile, Vanessa's life started to fall apart. The same people who once praised her began to distance themselves. Videos of her mocking Tara resurfaced online, and fans turned against her. Brand deals were canceled. Invitations to events stopped coming. The fashion world that once worshipped her name now ignored her completely. For the first time, Vanessa experienced what it felt like to be on the other side, to be judged, to be alone. One afternoon, as Tara worked late in her studio, there was a soft knock on the door. She looked up and saw Vanessa standing there. Vanessa looked different. No heavy makeup, no fancy clothes. Just a simple white dress and tired eyes. Tara's heart tightened, but she didn't speak. She quietly gestured for Vanessa to come in. Vanessa hesitated, then stepped closer. Her voice trembled. "Vanessa, you didn't deserve how I treated you." There was a long silence. Tara looked at her, not with anger, but calm understanding. "Tara," softly, "maybe we both needed to learn what real beauty looks like." Vanessa blinked, tears forming in her eyes. She nodded slowly. For the first time, she truly looked ashamed. Tara stood and offered her a small smile. "Tara, it's okay, Vanessa. I forgive you." Not because she had to, but because she wanted peace. Vanessa whispered a quiet "thank you" and left, closing the door gently behind her. Tara stood for a moment, feeling the stillness of the room. It felt like a new beginning, clean and calm. That night, Tara sat by her window, watching the city lights. She opened her sketchbook and drew a new design. Something bright and hopeful. In the corner of the page, she wrote in neat letters, "For those who sow their pain into beauty." Her journey from humiliation to success had not been easy, but it had shaped her into someone stronger, wiser, and kinder. And as the moonlight filled her studio, Tara smiled, knowing she had finally become what she was always meant to be. Not just a designer, but an inspiration. 1 year later, the next reunion. The ballroom sparkles again. But this time the whispers are different. Everyone is excited, waiting for the guest of honor. Cameras flash as the doors open, and Tara walks in, glowing in a stunning patchwork gown made from the same fabric design that once made people laugh. The same crowd that once mocked her now stares in awe. Her name is whispered with respect. She moves with quiet confidence, every step graceful, every smile calm. The MC takes the stage and grins widely. MC. From being mocked to mentoring hundreds, please welcome Tara Adebayo. The room bursts into applause. Tara smiles and waves, her eyes shining. She spots Elijah in the audience, nodding proudly at her. Neka wipes away a tear, mouthing, "You did it." Then Tara's voice plays softly in the background, like a voiceover. Tara voiceover. They said my clothes were cheap, but they were stitched with dreams, and dreams never go out of style. The camera pans slowly to Vanessa, sitting quietly in the front row, clapping with a humble smile. She looks truly proud and changed. Tara stands beneath the lights, her heart full, not with revenge, but with peace. She had turned pain into purpose, and failure into fashion. As the music swells, the screen fades to black with her final smile, a symbol of grace, growth, and quiet victory. Please. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you love Tara's story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. See you in the next one. Bye. Sparkling Heart.